So, hey Shu, welcome to this podcast episode with Buildify. And how are you doing?
Perfect, perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, recently a lot of things happened actually. Like
Okay.
DeepSeek R1, DeepSeek V3, I think you have heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Which is revolutionized a lot of existing big models. And
Yeah.
we're trying to catch up, yeah, on that aspect too. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, firstly, would begin with a short intro of Mizu AI and what are you guys building at Mizu? If you can give us a short overview.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Shu, and I'm founder of Mizu. Mizu was founded in 2020, end of like 2023. And
Okay.
before that, I was an engineer in Facebook. I worked in data infra and this like crypto projects, including like Libra and Novi Wallet. It's like these projects in Facebook before. But then like Facebook cut off all these kind of blockchain projects. But I personally really believe in the future of crypto.
Okay.
So I decided to quit and for my own company. And the very beginning, like the Mizu is not about AI data, but like after I went to ETH Denver last year, and then I see that basically the future is about AI. And
Yeah.
I have the background of like data infra, and then we decide to like really dive into this kind of direction. And actually, we did a lot of like reorganization during that kind of time because it kind of like self uh, give us more confidence and give us more I would say insights about like how this kind of direction in this crypto plus AI looks like and what kind of direction we should go with. And at that time, like crypto AI is still all about this GPU market.
Yeah.
Okay. But in last year, we see a big shift from GPU market to AI models to AI data to AI agents. Again, it's getting bigger. It's getting more and more diverse, and
Correct.
we're glad that like we did decide to go that direction at that time, which is like one step ahead of others.
Yeah.
And now here we are. Like Mizu is Edge AI data deepin.
Okay.
We want to be the network of Edge AI devices. We want to accumulate uh, the computation power of Edge devices like your desktop, like laptop, mobile devices, even glasses, and use that kind of devices to help us to we want to accumulate the computation power of these kind of devices and build an AI inference network on top of that.
Okay. Okay. So, thanks for the overview. And so, while we were researching about Mizu AI, so we saw that it basically helps to process the hyperscale data for AI. So could you
Right.
like explain us more about that, like how actually Mizo operates and how the data is processed?
Yeah. So I want to explain Mizu as three things. The three things are different, but actually they're the same thing. The first one is like Mizu is a computation power market besides existing GPU markets
Okay.
because it accumulates the computation power of the edge devices, right? This kind of edge devices, they provide very fragmented computation power compared to existing like professional GPUs like H100 or B100, whatever this kind of like high pro performance GPUs provided by NVIDIA, right?
Yeah.
So we want to build a computation power market besides this professional or high performance GPU providers. And then we hit a big problem. The problem is like the reliability and the latency and the capability of this kind of fragmented computation power is very limited, right?
Yeah.
So then how we can solve the problem by really use this kind of fragmented computation power. So that leads the second thing. Like Mizu is an asynchronous AI inference framework. Okay. This is a very new concept, asynchronous AI inference framework. So because it's built on top of this kind of fragmented computation power, the only thing we can provide is the asynchronous API. So what is like asynchronous inference? It's very different from real-time inference. So today if you use ChatGPT, you type something, you send a request, and you're expecting the result coming back immediately, right?
Yeah.
Because you're chatting, you're expecting a living like live chat. So you cannot wait for like an hour or two, then you get the response. That makes the chat experience super bad. Okay.
Correct.
And all people are focusing on this kind of real-time inference. If you check the like library to the existing like OpenAI library, you can see that it's like I think HTTP request, and they're expecting to
Yeah.
get result like within 30 seconds. But since this kind of fragmented computation power accumulated by us is super unreliable because these kind of edge devices can go online and offline anytime, and
Okay.
its performance of that is also very limited. So latency could be like super high. What we were thinking is like, what if like you can push a job and then you can get a result like in 2 or 3 hours. But you
Okay.
don't get the result like immediately. You wait the result for a while, for even like days if you're not in a hurry, right? And then you
Yeah.
get the result back like after that. This
Okay.
makes like so that to make that work, we build a coordination layer which connect
Okay.
into thousands and tens of thousands of devices like MacBook and laptops. Okay. And use them as a computation power provider, and we cache the request and send the request and cache the result and notify you when the result is ready. That's called asynchronous inference. Okay.
Okay.
And the advantage of this platform is that it's super cheap. It's super scalable because you can leverage billions of devices and they're like not cost sensitive. So you can provide
Mhm.
like 100 or 1,000x cheaper price compared to existing inference network. Okay.
Okay.
So this kind of asynchronous inference framework, what can it do? Right? It's become the next challenge. Like what's the best use cases? Because it definitely
Correct.
cannot use chat, right?
Yeah.
And that leads us to the thing. The third thing is like we're a data processing network because data pipelines is a perfect candidate for this kind of network. The data pipelines means that you initiate data pipelines and it processes a
Okay.
large amount of data, like terabytes of data or petabytes of data. But you're not in a hurry. You can wait for the data pipelines to run for a day or two and then you get the result back. Okay.
Got
This
it.
kind of data pipeline is already existing in all these kind of big companies. But for example, like Hadoop and Spark, they're these kind of data pipelines, right? And now you can use AI to build these kind of data pipelines
Okay.
and like revolutionize all existing framework because you don't have to write code anymore. You just write prompt and tell people like what kind of data I want to put in and what kind of data I want to put out. Okay. But when the
Got it.
data scales out, the cost is very high. That's why we become like the perfect solution for this because we are 1,000x cheaper than existing framework. Okay.
Mhm.
These kind of data pipelines could be image generation, or for
Okay.
example, like sensor generation, like text summarization and video analysis. Video analysis, I think, will be a big thing once we enter into like a multimodal framework in the future.
Mhm.
And we're also building our very first use case by basically we're actually really like real-timely monitoring thousands of Telegram groups and accumulating the pub data from the public channels. Okay. And
Okay.
this kind of data, we want to summarize that every day so we can know what's happened on these kind of groups, right? It's
Yeah.
not like real-time task. It's kind of like per day task. And this kind of is and you don't need like very big models like 600 billion parameter model for that. All you need is like for example 17 billion parameter model or even small like 3 billion parameter model. And this kind of model can perfectly be hosted in our framework and we can provide extremely cheap price for this kind of text summarization like tasks.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And also, like you previously spoke about the edge network. So would love to know more about the edge network and also what would be the incentives for users to run these data nodes
Yeah.
on it.
So edge network means that edge edge means like the edge devices, right? The edge
Yeah.
devices include like mobile devices like laptop, desktop, and there's a lot of like more devices out there recently. I just noticed that. For example, like there's a company called Red Magic. They're
Okay.
providing super powerful phone and desktops with super powerful GPUs that you can host some small models by yourself. Okay.
Okay.
And NVIDIA is also releasing some new, I would say commercial GPUs like RTX 5070,
Correct.
which is as powerful as 4090, but
Yeah.
it's much cheaper, like $500 at most.
Hmm.
So this with like 24 gigabyte of memory and can host like 7 billion parameter model like easily in your laptop. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
eventually in the future, there's more and more edge devices that can run these kind of big models locally. And there's a company called Exo Labs. They're also like exploring how you can combine like several Mac Minis or MacBooks and
Yeah.
unify the memory and build a cluster on these kind of commercial laptops to host like even bigger models like DeepSeek R1. Yeah.
Okay.
So so we see the potential of this kind of edge devices. They can host models. They can provide this kind of, they can do the inference for you. So we are so the edge network is basically to build a layer to hook up all these kind of edge devices to a network and provide a unified API for upper layer application to use. Yeah, that's
Got it.
basically edge network. And to run the edge network, it's I would say extremely simple. We are re-architecturing the whole thing. So eventually it'll be two things. You have some model provider in your laptop, like Olama. I
Okay.
think you know AI, I think you'd be like very familiar with Olama.
Yeah.
Olama is a software like in Mac or Windows or in Linux that can
Mhm.
provide this kind of, you can download model and talk with that, basically.
Okay.
And it also provides the API in local, to any local applications as a web server. So, and what we build is like we build this kind of a proxy on top of that as a web app, and then the web app hooked up to our server, to our like coordination layer. Then
Okay.
and that coordination layer will hook up to this kind of applications. So applications, so in that way, applications can eventually talk with your Olama instance and do inferences for their job.
Okay.
So the way it works is basically you run your laptop, keep Olama running, and
Mhm.
keep our web app running. Then you're contributing your idle computation power to our network, and you're earning points and you're earning tokens, and also you're earning money directly because as long as the developer is actually paying for the network, right? And then this kind of the fees will be like evenly distributed to all the contributors. Yeah, that's basically how it works.
Got it. Got it. And my next question would be like, what kind of partnerships or collaborations are you looking for in future with Mizu? Like, what kind of projects or what kind of audience? Like, audience, I think it's very specified. It's developer guys. But what kind of projects like are you looking to
Yeah, we're looking
partner
for
with?
two projects, okay? Two kinds of projects.
Okay.
The first project is basically we see that there's some other edge like edge network that trying to
Okay.
provide this kind of computation power to you. For example, like as I said, like Exo Labs, right?
Yeah.
We actually we build a layer on top of that as asynchronous inference network, right? That's coordination layer. And below that, we actually can be compatible with any edge network provider. As long as you're accumulating a group of laptop that can provide this kind of inference to us, we are okay. Like we're happy to work with you and to
Okay.
hook you up to our platform. Okay, because we have the demand. We're working with the applications
Got
to
it.
to 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 accumulate this kind of demand side. And the second project is basically the application that who are actually active looking for a cheaper inference framework. Yeah,
Okay.
like much way more cheaper than any existing solution in the market. And we actually find some like groups of these kind of people. The first one is like individual developers. A lot of individual developers, they're very cost sensitive. They want to try out AI. They have some this kind of playground application, and this kind of playground application should be as cheap as possible, so they can accumulate free users and then convert them into paid users, right? So this
Correct.
kind of playground application is something we're working with. And second is like researchers. Okay,
Okay.
researchers is very interesting topic because we just like talk with several PhDs and professors from some undeveloped countries, not like in US or Europe. Okay, some
Okay.
undeveloped countries. We see that uh, a lot of them actually are lacking of fund and they cannot even afford for AWS server.
Okay.
Okay, they cannot afford for this kind of cloud services, and
Got it.
the only thing they can do is using their some very several servers in their laptop or some in their lab or this like personal like laptops or desktops to process the data and to do some AI research, which is very limited. They want to invest, they want to like research on a lot of things, but they can't, they just can't because they don't
Got
have the
it.
power to do these kind of things. What we provide them is like a much cheaper framework to empower their research. And I think that's another reason why you should run the Mizu H nodes, because eventually you're actually contributing to these kind of researchers. Eventually you're democratizing the benefit of AI, right?
Got it.
You're giving the power of these kind of researchers or labs that they can catch up. They can catch up to do some like research they cannot do before. Yeah.
Got it, got it. And my next question would be regarding DeepSeek because, like, while we started with the intro, So you were like very interested to speak about DeepSeek, and that is like very obvious because right now we see a lot of discussion or hype. No, not hype actually. We can call it as a discussion around DeepSeek and on Twitter specifically. And a lot of people are saying that China is going to surpass US in terms of AI, and then this would happen, that would happen. So would love to know your take on DeepSeek R1 and the whole scenario right now about open source AI.
Yeah, I think uh I would say like in general and to Mizu, okay. So in general, I really believe in the statement that, done by like Liquin. So it's not like China with US, it's open source with closed source.
Okay.
Yeah, if you check Twitter recently, like OpenAI uh, is like someone actually in OpenAI is actually tweeting, say, hey, congratulations to DeepSeek, and actually like people replying that, hey, you're called OpenAI and you become the closed source AI. So DeepSeek won and get the attention not because they are strong, it's because they actually like definitely like because they're strong, but like it's more like because they open sourced everything including
Yeah.
the training process and the weight and the model and how did that paper and everything, right?
Yeah.
That's actually benefits everyone and that acquires attention from the whole like industry because everyone can build on top of this to make better models. Okay, so that's what I like 100% agree here. Open source versus closed source. That's also like should be something like the crypto AI industry should be aiming to. Like, eventually the decentralized AI should be like, even do better than open source AI because you're providing you have to like, provide more benefits to the society or to the industry
Correct.
than that. Then that's the way you get attention, get a reputation instead of like, just like releasing tons of shit coins. Yeah. And for Mizu, actually, it actually brings two things to us. The one is like a challenge. The challenge is that it's actually reduced the cost of models about 100x, right?
Yeah.
And so it's actually we are actually providing a very cheap inference framework, and they actually already like bring down the baseline to even lower. So the gap between DeepSeek and existing Mizu is actually not that thick anymore, I would say.
Yeah.
But because the nature of our network, we always can bring down the cost even further, like 1,000x cheaper than any existing like the baseline of the industry, because that's how it works, right? We actually
Correct.
leverage the fragmented power, computation power. So that I think even like bring down the overall cost lower, and we can support more use cases. So that's why I'm pretty excited about that. And second is like, have you tried some distilled model from DeepSeek? Actually,
Uh,
people are yeah. So people are now actually using DeepSeek to distill a small models. For
okay.
example, there's a distilled 3 billion parameter model QN from R1,
Okay.
and they distill like knowledge from R1 and dump that into Llama as well. So you have like tons
Okay.
of distilled model. And this kind of distilled model is super, super powerful. It's actually on some specialized tasks, they can behave as good as ChatGPT o1. And
Mm-hmm.
this not like 100 billion parameter model, it's 7 billion parameter model or like 30 billion parameter model, right?
Got it.
So that makes like the which means like small models are getting more and more powerful.
Yeah.
That's actually good for age AI. We're like super bullish on age AI when this happens because uh these kind of laptops and fragmented computation power, they can it's like super super hard for them to host like super big models, but it's relatively easy for them to host like small model or mid-sized models, right?
Got it.
And they're more natively naturally fitting this kind of edge AI network.
Yeah.
And in that case, which means the network can have I would say can power more powerful models and can satisfy more use cases along the way.
Got it.
In the future, like I think 2025 is basically the year of AI agent. But AI agent is never about one model. It's a workflow that there's a big model, like brand. Your brand is actually
Correct.
composing tasks and can be basically like, I translate your ask into a bunch of tasks. And
Mm-hmm.
then I will use some other models to execute every step of that
Got it.
because it doesn't cost effective for a brand to execute a small task, right? You want to
Correct.
combine a bunch of mid-sized or small-sized models to finish all these kind of tasks, but a brand to control everything. So it
Got
becomes
it.
like more like intelligence way, right? You have specialized workers. And these kind of specialized workers can definitely be hosted in our network because they are small to mid-sized models. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's cheaper. Why not? Yeah.
Got it. Got it. And now, like, as you also were speaking about DAI and the whole Def AI as well. So, what do you think? Like, this year, what agents can do more, or what more can we get to see in specifically in the decentralized AI side?
I think decentralized AI, I see like two traits here. The first one is like how you can use crypto to enhance AI.
Okay.
Basically, how you can use crypto to improve the existing AI model capability. For example, like by accumulating the researchers and give them more economic power, or like using some economic model to incentivize people to create new things. Okay,
Got it.
that part, I feel like I don't see any good projects, to be honest. Yeah, but
Okay.
that's the ultimate goal of the AI. The goal
Hmm.
of the AI is basically you want to use the mechanism of crypto to create to push the existing AI industry to next steps, even like to
Got it.
next AGI, right? For that, I don't see any good projects on this yet, to be honest. And there's another trade is like how we can combine AI and crypto. For example, like use AI to manage some assets and running AI in TE and uh, running AI in TE so that it can control some crypto assets and so it can like manage the assets by itself, you know. And that's
Got it.
more like how we can bring AI into crypto. It's not crypto
Got
use like no crypto into AI, but instead of like bring AI into crypto, and that's what's happening right now. Tons of this kind of AI engine framework and this kind of projects are trying to bring AI into crypto, so make the whole crypto system more smarter. I think
Yeah.
the ultimate reason behind this is because the whole crypto industry is actually relatively like the AI is relatively new to the whole crypto industry, and people are still trying to catch up in last year. I
Yeah.
would say in early last year, I would say like only like maybe 10% of the people in crypto really knows what is AI and the power of that and trying to catch
Hmm.
up. But now it's different. Now, like I think majority of the AI, a majority of the crypto people are actually already catched up and they know what's happening. For example, like when Deepseek comes out, it's actually affecting the market of crypto as well because everyone knows the power of that,
Correct.
right? And it's kind of
Yeah.
like coherent, more tightly right now. So, uh, so what I see is like now, like AI for crypto is being actively developed, and more and more and more new things are coming out, and it's getting more mature. And
Okay.
once the whole crypto industry is like, I would say melt with AI industry like further, I think we will see some like crypto for AI use cases. Yeah, that's what we're aiming to. Yeah, we want
Got
to use
it.
crypto to really improve the AI industry to contribute something like positive values to the like mainstream society. Yeah, that's
Got
basically
it.
what we think about.
Got it. So moving towards our last question, I'll again come back to Mizu. So, like I definitely saw your roadmap for Mizu for this year and all. So, would request you to give like a few insights about your roadmap and what future advancements are you guys planning at Mizu for this year or maybe in future also.
Yeah. So I think early last year we released a roadmap with very concrete dates, and turns out like that's a very bad idea. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's like things are keep changing, market is changing, and at the startup you actually keep like not pivoting, but like you keep like adjust you what you're doing to what the market is like looking for, right?
Correct.
So that makes us feel like okay, a lot of things, we thought it's like thought is meaningful, turns out like to be useless after like 6 months. So we are quite adaptive and flexible and kind of like keep changing. And in that way, like I think in last October or September and October, we updated our roadmap to a more general, directional one because
Okay.
it's like there's no way for you to guarantee anything in this kind of stage. So, but like what you can guarantee is like the mission and the vision and the thing you're building and
Yeah.
the destination you're looking for is something you can guarantee, but you cannot guarantee the timeline, cannot guarantee anything like, even like cannot guarantee the exact product you're building because a lot of new ideas keep coming out. and then like
Okay.
reforming new, and also like we're kind of like refactoring a lot of like existing product as well. Okay.
Okay.
So in general, the roadmap would be like we want to build the inference network. We want to build the inference network first. That's first step, and it's
Okay.
almost there. And then we want to build this async like the data processing pipelines. Okay,
Okay.
on top of the inference framework. That's step two. And the last step is basically you want to involve more and more use cases into this kind of data processing network to prove the value of that. That's in product wise, three steps. Okay, inference network, data processing network, and the ecosystem. And per the I would say in a typical standard crypto projects point of view, you care about the testnet, mainnet, TGE, and all
Yeah.
these kind of things, right? So I think once we have the inference network, and once we onboard one or two use cases to prove the value of the whole network, and we have some like revenue, no matter how small it is, as long as people are using that and paying for that, it's time for us to launch our mainnet.
Correct.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
basically our own judgment on the development pace of the whole thing. Okay, so now we're
Okay.
in the phase one, which is like we released our mini app, which is doing some small data processing tasks for us. Okay,
Okay.
but this kind of data processing task is not about inference. We're using
Okay.
AI model and do some similarity search. It's more like indexing the data in vector database.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we want to build a more general inference network, so we're deprecating that, and
Okay.
we will like stop our phase one mining soon and initiate our phase two mining. So all the Mizu points we mined in phase one will be recorded and the contribution
Okay.
will be recorded, and we will streamline that into phase two. In phase two, you cannot like simply mine Mizu points with a laptop or a mobile device anymore. You have to run some model in your laptop, even like
Mm-hmm.
like 1 billion parameter model one. You have run some model in your laptop, and you have to do some real inference to mine Mizu points, which means it will require more a little bit higher. The requirements for these kind of devices will be a little bit higher. You have, for
Okay.
example, at least like 60 gigabyte of memory. You have to have some GPUs installed in your laptop. Yeah. So that's basically the plan. And we plan to initiate our uh, phase two mining in next month or the month after next month. Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, we have the use cases, and then we will like start from there to see what's happening.
Got it. Got it. So yeah, that was it for today's session, and thanks for coming on to this podcast and sharing so much information about Mizu and the whole scenario of AI. So we are definitely looking forward to more such announcements from the Mizu team, and we are also closely following you guys on Twitter and all. So it's always great to hear from you guys. So thanks a lot again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for your time as well. Yeah. I
Yeah.
really want to talk with people who are actually pushing forward the DAI space. I think like we need
Okay.
more people like you to help us to find out like better and high quality this kind of DAI projects as well. Yeah.
Got it.